Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Drew Hedinger. I'm your host of the Press Play Podcast, along with my co-host.
I'm Troy, and excited to be on and talk to you about Battlefield today.
All right, so last week we went over Call of Duty, talked a lot about that, went in depth on a number of things, and this week we're here to do kind of sort of the same thing with Battlefield. We're going to compare and contrast the two in between different segments and topics about the game that we have, but yeah. We're just going to talk about our first Battlefield experience first, and we'll just go along right from there.
It works for me. You go ahead and you start it.
All right. So, what was your first Battlefield experience? Was it on YouTube? Was it just by playing the game?
So mine was actually on YouTube. I watched a guy named Kutra. This was way back, 2011. He was playing Battlefield Bad Company 2. And I actually tried to go rent the game back when that was still a thing people did.
Yeah.
And I needed my own email to play online, and so I never got to experience it really till Battlefield 3, and I didn't really get into it till Battlefield 4.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
I think you were telling me about Battlefield, so I looked at some videos on 3, because that's the first one I ever played. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that I just watched some videos on YouTube just to check what it was about, and then I bought it because you wanted me to get it. So that was my first experience.
Do you regret that decision?
No. I mean, I kind of got burnt out on it because it was the only game played on my system for a year, not even really by me. But I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I loved the old school Battlefields. Not more than Call of Duty at the time, because I still like that way better, but...
Oh, yeah.
And that's something I'd kind of like to get into, later, but I don't know. I feel like Call of Duty used to be so good back then that Battlefield kind of got overshadowed, never really appreciated as much as it should have been.
Yeah, but, I mean, Call of Duty back then, too, was just kind of you had zombies, you had multiplayer, the campaigns were fun. And then that's what changed my mind was whenever Ghost was out. It was right when the PS4 came out. And I hated playing Ghosts, but Battlefield 4 was the only other option, and I actually enjoyed it. That's why I kind of stuck with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going to be talking about Battlefield 3 now. We're kind of going to go by not the newest, or not the oldest, but the newer-ish games, talking about them. So first we can go over Battlefield 3, console versus a computer. So the first thing... that was really different from console to computer was that on the computer, 64 against 64, and they did not have that on the consoles because the consoles couldn't handle that at the time. I've never played Battlefield on a computer, so I haven't. I mean, in the newer games, I obviously have it, but at that time, it would have been cool, but it wasn't really something that was that feasible, I think, with the technology.
Yeah, and I may have written it down wrong. I think Battlefield 3... its max players was 64, and I think on console it was 16 versus 16. I don't remember exactly. It was something like that.
Well, regardless,
no,
it
yeah,
just doubled.
Which,
so.
Honestly, it kind of killed it for me because I was on the console, it's I can only play against at 16, the 32, whatever the number was at a time, but PC could do double that.
Right.
And so, these large-scale maps just felt empty because I couldn't play with as many people as PC could.
Right, so that's kind of like a Ghost problem then.
Kind
of,
yeah.
These maps that are way too big and not enough enemies.
Yeah, so you just run around more than anything, and you don't really... It's not really action-packed when you're just running down a subway.
Right, I mean, there was a couple maps that were more geared towards, the 16v16 or whatever it was. I think that's right. I think it was 16-16 and then maybe 32-32.
I think it was 32-32 for Conquest. I would hope. And then I think 16 versus 16 was Rush Team Deathmatch because I loved Rush. I was sad when they got rid of it, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I don't really remember a lot about Battlefield 3. I just remember that it was... While I didn't like it at the end because I had it played so much and watched so much of it, it was pretty good. And I don't know, it was a game that's pretty underrated in my mind. So we can talk about the maps, I guess. Again, I don't remember the names of them or anything like that. It's been a while. But I remember, I don't know why I don't remember the name, but it was like the underground, like
It's a
the
subway.
subway. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really good.
Everyone played that map.
And then
I think there's. I may confuse it with 4, but 3, I think. 3 had the outside one that was like desert and there were like blown down buildings and stuff. I think there's a satellite dish in the middle. I think that was 4.
I don't remember. I get them both confused. The maps in Battlefield. I mean, I can hardly keep track of Call of Duty, but Battlefield, the maps just. No.
I mean, I think they were good, well designed.
They were.
Of course, I haven't played it since the 360, so like I'm been that's been like 3 or 4 other Battlefields since then. So I think for their playstyle though, they were pretty well designed. I mean, I would prefer to play with more people, but I remember a lot of fun battles in the subway map added to the I mean, just the intensity of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember bits and pieces of other maps, but that's the only map that I can truly like visualize in my head was that subway map. But the weapons were decent. I don't remember like all like of what they were specifically,
Yeah, no.
but I remember they were balanced and the classes were decent too, and it was just a solid game overall. Nothing like crazy, but it was solid.
No, yeah, I couldn't remember anything in that felt unfair by any means. So, yeah, we can jump over to 4 because it sounds like we remember much more of that.
I remember a lot more about 4, which doesn't make sense because I didn't even play it nearly as much, but it's more fresh in my mind, I guess, is probably the biggest thing. This is one game that I really wish I would have played when it came out more instead of like at the tail end of the cycle because it was. I think it's the best Battlefield, and a lot of people think that, but I truly do think this was the best one. And you can't really appreciate it because you go back now, and I've tried to play it like last summer. I tried to play it. It looks so bad now that it's just hard to like want to like play it.
Yeah. I mean, it's just aged wrong.
Like it is the grainiest like game I think I've ever played. Like besides like Atari or something like I don't know why it's so grainy, but that's besides the point. How popular was it? I don't remember. Was it Ghost that came out? You said
It was Ghost and Battlefield 4 at the time.
I remember it was relatively popular. It was one of the more popular Battlefields from the get go, and that's likely due to Ghost being how it was received. But I remember I didn't like Ghost really. I mean, I loved the campaign, but aside from that, I wasn't really a huge fan of the game. And I even picked up Battlefield and played it a little bit here and there, or maybe I rented. I don't remember. I played it for a little bit, and I don't know. I kind of really wasn't into shooting games as much because I didn't want to give Battlefield that much of a chance because I liked Call of Duty and that was just the way it was. But when I grew to appreciate it more, I definitely enjoyed it a lot more.
Oh yeah, I mean, I couldn't stand Ghost. That was kind of when Battlefield started down, or not Battlefield. It's when Call of Duty kind of started down its rabbit hole that it's still currently going down. And I thought, well, I was like, Ghost is just one of those bad games every series has. And I was like, I'll play Battlefield and then get the next Call of Duty and it'll be different. And boy, am I still waiting.
I think that was Advanced Warfare that came after.
Yeah, which we didn't really talk about much in the last video, but it was decent. And then it started going downhill rapidly. But Battlefield to me was just more like, I was tired of the futuristic stuff, which I know Ghost wasn't like super futuristic, but Advanced Warfare wasn't. So Battlefield 4 I know was set in the future, but it didn't feel like I was playing like a sci-fi game.
Right, it was like a Black Ops 2 type deal where it's like just far enough into the future.
The vehicles were like futuristic, but the weapons were still weapons that you could go out and find. And I think that's what made it popular for me. Next question, I guess, is what makes it so addicting.
Well, I think you really hit the nail on the head when you were just saying everything you said. The weapons were all usable. It was modern, but not too modern. or futuristic, excuse me, but
Yeah.
not too futuristic. It hit all the nails on the head. The maps were really good, especially the DLC maps. I loved the snow one, and
Oh, the prison one was my
prison
favorite.
one was really good too.
I know that wasn't. I don't think it was DLC, but I forgot to
Well,
mention that map was like my favorite.
mm-hmm. Also, the weapons, all balanced. I think I just said that, but I'm gonna say it again because it's very important. Because Call of Duty has completely disregarded that.
Yeah.
The classes were good, but I mean, really, like when you just have a good weapons selection and a good like era to play in and good maps, that's the game's gonna be a hit every time.
Yeah, I think also what helped it be so addicting was like the number of weapons that you had to choose from. I mean, I might be exaggerating, but I swear like the assault rifles were like there were at least like 20 of them, 15 to 20. I know like
There's a
some the
lot.
sniper rifles there weren't like too many, but there were still like enough that it would take you a while to unlock all the attachments for all of them,
Right.
which made it fun because then eventually you're like, oh, I'm bored with this weapon. I'll try like this rifle, and then that's something else to level up.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought that it was they gave you so much to do that the replay value, because like Call of Duty now, you usually have like 7 assault rifles, like 3 shotguns, like 3 snipers, like 9 SMGs, and it's like people get them gold in like a week,
Right.
and then it's like, well, what do I do now? I just go to the next weapon type. So I really appreciate Battlefield for putting in all that effort into why, or like making it addicting, because you're paying $60 for it. You should be able to get some replay value out of it.
Yeah. That and just also like the aspect of playing with your friends. It goes without saying, but just saying it to say it. I mean, that's part of what made it so addicting. Because at that time, like we were all still young and everybody was on and stuff too. Even though I never played it as much, I'm just speaking to why it was so addicting. I think for people.
Oh yeah.
Because when people are younger, they have more time to game, and their friends have more time. And at least for me, when my friends are on, that makes me a lot more inclined to get on and want to play something than just if there's nothing else to really play. I mean,
Yeah.
the occasional single player game comes along, but I mean it's like a wasteland right now with good games. So
Yeah, it's definitely true.
all right, and I think that sets us up good to segue to Battlefield 1. I think this is probably the Battlefield I remember the most. Just because I think I played this the most at all. I could be wrong, but I played this one a lot. I don't know. I just remember I played it with Drayton a lot. I played it with you a little bit. I think I played it with Zeke. I don't remember exactly all who I played it with, but I played this game a lot. And I remember like my favorite thing was the anti-tank gun.
Oh yeah, the little like hand cannon.
And you could just set it up anywhere and just blow whatever or whoever up. I'd love that still. I thought that was so fun. But
Well, I think people use that weapon more as anti-infantry. I mean, it took all your ammo to like kill a tank, so I think people just started shooting at enemy like strongholds.
yeah, unless you had a support class,
Oh yeah, no.
yeah, it wasn't good. But this was the first game that in the Battlefield series that went back to World War. Was it 1?
1, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
5 is 2.
Okay, that's what I thought. And they just straight up, copied Call of Duty. They saw that Call of Duty, hey, we're going back in time to World War II, so Battlefield's like, oh, we're going to go back to World War One. And, thankfully, at least it wasn't the same war. At least, like, they changed it up that little bit, like,
Yeah.
just to, like, make the maps and stuff different anyways. If not for anything else, the weapons are basically identical. But the maps, at least, give enough to, like, change it up so you're not playing the same thing. And this is kind of a thing where, I don't know, I played both of these games. I played World War II and I played Battlefield 1 a lot. I think that's the most I've ever played, like, the same, like, or not the same, each series, like, a similar amount of time.
Yeah.
And more people had Call of Duty like they always do, so I probably played that a little bit more, but I got a lot of time into Battlefield 1. Was it worth going back in time, though, for this game is a question. And I don't know. It worked, so I want to say that it is. But again, I don't like just because one company's do it, the other does it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, Pepsi Max, and then it evolved into like Coke Zero. It's like stuff like that. Like, I mean, you have to like have something to keep the competition on its feet, but at the same time, like, what makes the best company the best is they can have their own ideals and their own things, which are really hard to come up with, to say the least. But
They can be unique.
that you can be unique, but if a company or someone believes in themselves and actually, you know, goes through the effort of putting that idea through the trials and tribulations that it needs, that's where the best companies rise out on top. Kind of like, you know, Call of Duty's proven time and time again, even though they're in a horrible state now, to say the least. They've went out and they've at least tried different things like Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare.
Yeah.
Battlefield hasn't done anything like that, which, to each their own. But you got to take the risk to reap the rewards.
Yeah. You guys should watch our Call of Duty video.
Yeah,
Compare this one with that one, and you'll get your answers.
you will. And I don't know. It's just that these videos go hand in hand, or these podcast episodes rather. I guess they are a video too, but that's besides the point.
Yeah. We are branching out. We're not going to series this all up.
Yeah.
But it is, you know, this one and this one, or Call of Duty and Battlefield just kind of go hand in hand. So it'd be kind of
That was
dumb
a
not to.
decent idea.
But yeah, in terms of going back in time, I liked it. Don't get me wrong, because I really like World War I and II. The issue I have, though, with when you go back in time is there's not very many weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to realize that, like, is it worth selling a $60 game to people when, like, there's not a wide variety.
No.
Like, I had fun flying the planes and using the little hand anti-tank gun that you just put down anywhere. But, like, after a while, I quit playing it just because I was like, I mean, the attachments were, like, there's a reticle, like, so a sight, and then you could put, like, a bayonet on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's about all I remember
Yeah,
from it.
there was not a lot of customization, and that's kind of why I'm surprised I played it so much. Because, I mean, when you go to that era, there's just not a lot to do.
No, yeah, and that's my issue with going back, even with Call of Duty and, like, even with Battlefield 5, which is our next topic. But it's just, like, eventually you have to realize that, like, you're charging people for a full game that, like, is completed but just doesn't have enough to offer for $60.
No.
Like, you could have made it a whole DLC, like, bundle,
Right.
and then just put those weapons on there and charge like $30 or $40 for it.
No, I'm right there with you, and that's just part of like what we were talking about earlier, them just throwing it out because Call of Duty did it. But I mean, I've definitely seen it implemented worse than this, so you can't complain too much, especially nowadays with the garbage we get. So it's, you know, kind of weird to think getting screwed over a little bit. I mean, you can take that, but when you're just getting screwed over hand over fist now, it's just, I don't know.
Well, I mean, do you think they would have outdone Call of Duty had they stuck with their, like, Battlefield 4 game
If they
plan?
went right off Battlefield 4, absolutely. I think they would have blew Call of Duty out of the water, because I don't know why. It's probably just because I had people to play with. I was one of the very few people that even played World War II. It was regarded as just putrid at like the beginning of the game, halfway through the game, and the game didn't finally get good in the eyes of most Call of Duty YouTubers and players, I guess, until like the overhaul, which happened at the 3/4 of the way through the game's life cycle.
Yeah.
So
No, I think they would have too. I think everyone hyped up Call of Duty so much that Battlefield got worried, and so they're like, well, if everyone's excited for it, then we'll also go back in time. And I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot. Not in like a bad way, but I think they missed out on a huge sale.
They did, because imagine if that game had overtaken Call of Duty, you know, where Battlefield might be now.
Where Call of Duty might be now.
Yeah, I mean,
Could be gone.
they're going that way now.
Yeah.
So our next topic,
Be Battlefield 5.
Battlefield 5, yeah. Alright, was it a good idea to try and do another game based on past wars? Now this, it's okay trying to match somebody or doing something different, but like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of the Call of Duty that was out. Was it Black Ops 4?
I want to say yes. It's whatever came after
Well,
World War II.
When
Obviously, I guess.
I can't speak for everybody when I say this, but I know Troy agrees with me. If we have the choice, we're going to take a modern era or slightly futuristic era every single time, 100 times out of 100, than a World War II or 1. Just because of the weapons and because of, like, just how the game is as a whole. We have gotten beaten over the head with a hammer from World War I and II games.
Yeah, just nonstop.
And while I think Battlefield 1 was good and World War II was good, it has to be at some point in time where enough is enough.
That's what that means.
Especially with games like this, you know, we have been going over it at nauseum, and I'm just going to reiterate it one more time. But when there's, you know, just this, not only like the same like world like areas and the same like war zones, but the same 12 weapons just over and over. You can only M1 Garand and M14, I guess that's more Cold War. You can only M1 Garand and PPSH and Thompson your way out of so many situations before you just want to end up shooting yourself with one. So,
I mean, that's a good point. I mean, that's my whole, like I said, that's my issue with the past games is eventually you run out of stuff and then you can't make DLC where, like, what are you going to do? Put an M16 in World War II era and then just be like, yeah, this is all about World War II. Like,
and then it's not even that era.
Yeah, players are going to be like, what are you doing?
Exactly.
And so, like, you're kind of, you limit yourself because at least if it's futuristic, you can just make up a gun and be like, yeah, here's something they'd use in the future. And then everyone's going to be like, cool, new weapon. Can't do that in World War II because they're going to be like, well, nah, that's not realistic. And I mean, I don't blame them because if I buy a World War II game, I want the World War II experience. I don't want a ballistic missile and Predator missile coming down in Battlefield 5, storming the beaches of Normandy.
You don't want an attack helicopter?
No.
Why not?
Because it wouldn't make the Japanese islands fun.
Oh, man. So I think we kind of slapped that out of the way. It was not, like, really a good idea. Especially when Black Ops 4, which I think was the last true Call of Duty, the last true decent Call of Duty. People can disagree or whatever. That's just my opinion. Black Ops 4 is probably the most I've ever played a Call of Duty, and this isn't a Call of Duty episode, but I'm just going back and forth, you know, because they kind of go hand in hand. But,
That's right.
But yeah,
we already talked about that.
we were just going through. We just like slightly went over like, you know, a couple like this topic, and we've already hit all the points without even really knowing it.
I guess compared to Battlefield 1, would you say Battlefield 5's more or was more fun, or would you
Absolutely not. It looked a lot better and like it played better, but I don't know. It wasn't necessarily... I didn't think it was bad at all. I thought it was, for what it was, good. But having had the previous like World War I and II experience in Call of Duty and Battlefield respectively, I was done. So like...
I think that's where a lot of people were.
We were just, as a game player base, we were just done. And I especially was. I was over Black Ops 4 like... a fly on crap. I mean, I was glued to that game.
Well, I mean, I kind of stopped playing when they did an update where they kind of fixed the like rate of death.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you ever played it after that came out, but when you had a light machine gun, you would have to shoot people like 5 times for it to kill them. When in real life, you know, it would just that'd be it.
Right.
And that's why I've kind of gotten in. I've been playing a lot of Hell Let Loose.
Mm-hmm.
And that game is like, kind of blows all Battlefields out of the water in the sense of like, I can't just run through an open field and dodge LMG bullets like I could where I take 4 and then I just lay down and heal. Yeah, I can't do that in that game. And so, I think it played well. They really didn't do that health thing until they did the Pacific Islands.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they decided to update it for some reason, and it just, I couldn't get into it. I played it, and I tried to shoot a couple people. Didn't work. I deleted it.
Yeah, I remember I liked it. I was playing with a couple friends. They ended up deleting the game for one reason or another, and I was done. I mean, it was like, this is not like right when it came out. This was like 1 year ago. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not talking about like when it came out. I'm just talking about like, because people will go back to previous games, especially with the way the games are now, how just horrendous they are. And we're gonna get into Battlefield 42 here in a second. You don't worry about that.
Yeah, that's the one that everyone I'm sure has been waiting for.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be people that just skip to that section. And you know what? That's fine. That's going to be the most entertaining part for sure. But the customization of the weapons, just to reiterate, kind of the exact same as World War One. There was a little bit more variety because World War Two has a little bit more to offer. But was it still fun compared to Battlefield 1? Yes, as a game itself, and like from my point now, at the time, no. Like looking back, hindsight 2020, yes, it was fun compared to Battlefield 1.
Oh, yeah.
But at the time, no, because we needed a break from that era.
I mean, I really only preferred it because I love World War II way more than World War One.
Oh, I
so
agree.
you know, people who know history and like war games, that you know, it just kind of like, of course you're gonna buy it. It's like you're guaranteed to make some sales just because people like history,
Right.
and then the people who just like Battlefield better and Call of Duty. So like, I guess it was smart, but like, it's also kind of a dirty trick.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think now it's time we start into the main dish, I guess I'll say.
All right, the meat and potatoes.
Battle-
Battlefield 2042. Now,
I guess we'll just start it off, man. Why is it a failure?
well, there are so many reasons why it's a failure.
I mean,
The
that's
better
true.
question would be, why is it not a failure? But
It's not a game in the past.
that is the only thing there is to say
I mean, yeah.
in that aspect. So why is it a failure? Firstly, or unless you want to go first.
I mean, my main thing is it was really fun. The only issue I ever had in terms of bugs with it was where you could throw C4 on the drone and blow up tanks, because it made being in a vehicle just completely useless, because like you couldn't even hear the drone coming and all of a sudden you blew up and it's some guy across the map. The other thing is the fact that now it's not even considered an active game. So I paid $60 for something that's not even an active game anymore. It hasn't even been out a year. So, like, I don't think I can get my money back. I haven't tried.
No.
Mainly because I was holding on hope for so long that they would fix the bugs. I was fine with, like, the bugs if they just added either the first actual season, because they were in preseason for so long, because they were going to wait, like, a couple months and then release the first, like, the Battle Royales do. And I was like, I'm going to buy the Battle Pass if they have one. It's like, we're going to play some new maps, some new weapons. I was like, it's going to be great. And then preseason week, like, 18 came along. So that would have been, like, 4 months. And then everyone just stopped playing it. And I was like, I'm not playing this alone.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just, they released it and then didn't do anything with it. And I'm pretty sure they made an excuse one time of like, well, it wasn't finished when we released it, which isn't even our fault.
Yeah.
They released it, and then they're like, well, I don't get why you guys are upset that there's no content. It's probably because I paid $60 for a game that then you straight up said wasn't finished.
Yeah, they were getting mad at the, or acting all like, I don't even know.
They're acting like the victim.
Yeah, they were acting like the victim to the player base, and they were saying, well, if you don't like it, don't buy it. But
Yeah.
they've already bought it, so.
Yeah, they didn't offer. And I'm pretty sure they straight up said, yeah, we're not giving refunds. So it's like, and then they proceeded to then not fix or add anything. So I'm like, I wouldn't want a refund if you just fixed the stuff.
I mean, they're copying Call of Duty, so now they have to copy what Call of Duty does by just sitting idle and not doing anything.
Like, they already got their money.
Yeah,
And then they
exactly.
were
Gotcha.
Yeah, straight up. They're like, oh, you already paid for it. We'll just ignore the emails.
Yep.
And straight up, they, oh, I was going to say something else. They, like, what did you just say?
I said gotcha.
No, before that, the last idea.
They're trying to be like Call of Duty?
Yeah, before that one.
Oh, my Lord. You're asking somebody with short-term memory loss.
It was something about something else they said.
Oh, they said, it was the refund?
They said they weren't giving the refund.
And they said...
Yeah, I forget. They said something else that I was just, like, in shock that,
you don't like it, don't buy it.
Well, yeah, there was that. And then I was just like...
That's what I said.
No, I know. There was something... I thought of something, and then I got sidetracked. But if I remember it while we're talking, I just remember that straight up. I was like, I can't even believe that a Battlefield game would say that.
That's what I thought, but I think it was one of those things we were talking about. But
yeah, I don't remember. But
I don't remember what it was either, but I think it was one of those. There was something like that anyways.
Yeah, no, they straight up... I still can't even believe that, like, people still play that. And I'm pretty sure their player base is down to, like... The other year, or a couple months ago, I think it was below, like, 10,000 people.
It was below Battlefield 4 and...
Yeah, everyone went back.
They went back to Battlefield 4, but even, like, before that, I think it was more, like, after, like, the first, like, month of that game. Battlefield 4 just... And Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5 had more players currently.
I remember what I was going to say now. They released an update, and they're like, it's a huge overhaul update. Like, we're going to fix a bunch of bugs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And in that bug list that they fixed was not the drone C4 tank thing. It was mainly all user interface fixes. So they fixed the menu that players spend maybe 10 seconds in when they're not customizing, and did nothing for the gameplay. And that's when I deleted it, and I haven't gone back since.
Yeah.
I read it. I went online. They fixed a bunch of stuff that I didn't even know was an issue. And then they fixed nothing that everyone knew was an issue. And that's where I deleted it, and I haven't stayed up to date on it since.
Yeah. My experience wasn't even close to yours. I never even gave the game a proper chance because, I mean, I told you already, but I'll tell the audience that's watching this. The first game I've ever canceled my pre-order on, ever. I've never canceled a pre-order, not even Cyberpunk. I actually like Cyberpunk, by the way, but that's another video.
It's for another
video. I mean, it is. That'd be a good one to talk about. I don't know if you've played it. But
no, I thought about buying it, and I might. It's on sale right now.
I really like it, and I recommend it. Honestly, I think it's a pretty good game, especially now with all they've done to it. But that's besides the point. I canceled the pre-order because I played 3 hours, 4 hours of the beta, something like that. And I saw potential, but I knew that they just weren't going to act on that potential because of the things that they had done, like leading up to it. It just seemed like they didn't care. And that's self-relevant now, but
I mean, yeah.
But you could just tell that, like, this game wasn't going to be what it was hyped up to be, and I bought into the hype. I was riding the hype train. I had the conductor's hat on. I was so excited for this game to come out. I literally, like,
full speed ahead.
I literally, like, I'm not even. I pre-ordered this game, like, I think a couple months, like, before. I was just so ready because they had, like, I don't know what it's called, but it was like the Forge mode kind of from Halo is like basically what it was. Where it had all the Battlefield games, or at least most of them.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, this game's going to be like one of the greatest games ever because, like, the community's going to make awesome maps and do all these cool things. But no, the game is unbalanced. The maps were not that good. The weapons, while some of them were kind of fun to use, I just didn't like the customization. I thought that was horrible. Like, it wasn't like the standard menu. It was like that little, like, I don't even know what you'd call it. Like, I didn't like that at all. The interface and how you change, like, your attachments and stuff. And,
oh yeah, where, like, you pull it up, you can change it on the fly.
And then I forgot what it was, but there was, like, it would bug out and do something. I can't remember what it was. I think it was, like,
you couldn't aim.
You couldn't aim, and I would. Who wants to play a game where you can't even, like, aim?
Makes using an assault rifle tricky.
Yeah, try to use a sniper. And I enjoy what they tried to do with the kind of like bringing in like the specialist kind of stuff. While it didn't work, that's kind of self evident now. But they tried it. So
I thought it was a good idea, but I think that they picked the wrong game to try it on because I think all of them kind of served their purpose. And it reminded me of Siege, which, we both love Siege. At least I do. It's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, I used to. I play it now. I don't really love it, but I enjoy it.
Well, I mean, it was just the whole attachment thing too was like I liked it, and I get it's futuristic, but like you can't convince me that this guy is packing like 2 other scopes, 2 different mags, a couple extra barrels, and then he's just gonna slap them on and pull the gun right back up. It's like you know how often I would just do long range, and then as soon as the enemy started to push up, I'm just like, oh well, I'll just switch to my I'll just take all the attachments off and make it short range, and then I was fine. But also to go back to the whole, I'm gonna call it the vault because I don't remember what it actually was with all the games. Oh, was it Battleground? I don't remember.
I don't know what it's called.
But
no idea.
Me and my friends, me, Cordell, and Chase, single-handedly added a toxic element to that game. It was Battlefield 1942, and it was on the Battle of the Bulge, and it was snowy, and it had the broken windmill. And we found out that if we all picked anti-tank class, enemy couldn't do anything. They would pull tanks out of the spawn, because back then the rockets just recharged. So we would just pound their spawn with rockets, and their tanks couldn't get out. And anytime there was, we would just spawn on the point where there was one that got through, and we would just blow it up and then run back to the front line. And no one else that we played against did that. But like the week after we did that, everyone was using anti-tank on Battle of the Bulge. So then we stopped playing it.
Yeah.
But in a World War II game, my primary class should not be anti-tank. I was fighting enemies, shooting Panzerfausts up the hill. And so Battlefield 3 and 2 were fun, but like I didn't really like how you had everything unlocked, because I think you could have got more replay value if you just had to earn it.
Right.
And so like I thought it was fun. Don't get me wrong. I think I ended up playing more of the throwback games than I did the main game. But after a while, even then, when they weren't updating anything, they sure weren't updating that. So that's another one where I just deleted the game, and I can't bring myself to re-download it.
Yeah, definitely understandable. So, I already know the answer to this, but I'm going to answer kind of 2 different questions just so it isn't what we think. Is there any hope? For this game, no. In the future, I hope so. Maybe a little bit. I like to stay positive about things. At least now, I used to be negative about everything. I like to try to stay positive about things now. So I'm going to say, yes, of course, there's hope for the newer games. As far as this game, no. There is not hope for this game.
No, and I think that everyone's kind of come to terms with that. I personally think that it was very close to Battlefield 4, which I know, like, I'm not asking for an exact clone. I'm mainly asking for fun maps and just a large array of weapons.
Right.
Which Battlefield 2042 did kind of give. But, I mean, I think that if they wanted to make it right, they should have just offered refunds. And they should have either done that or have worked harder to make more content. Because literally that's all the players were asking for. And with any game, if you can't, you're making the game for the player. And so if you can't even like respect them enough to either try to fix your problem or give them their money back, then to me, like, it's just a bad game. Like, a bad business. But I don't think this game. I don't even think they're going to really do anything with it. I think they're gonna probably take a year off, like they did with like Call of Duty's doing, and they're gonna come back. So I'm pretty sure they've already announced they're making another Battlefield. So if they announce they're already making it, they're probably not gonna fix this one.
No, and I would honestly hope they wouldn't, because it's just a lost cause.
I think Battlefield, what they need to do is release like one game. Just add on to that game.
Yeah, I think that's what Call of Duty should do too. But
well,
yeah,
kind of like how Warzone, you can use all the weapons in like Warzone from like the CODs. So like I'm not saying Battlefield needs to do that, but I think like Battlefield should release like arcs or like Act 1, Arc 1, whatever, and like just have like, oh, the next arc's gonna be like you pay like $30, which I would be more than happy. I'd pay 40 if it was good, and then have it be like the Vietnam era, and then like like release the next one, make it like, I don't know, like Korea. No one's done a Korea war game,
right.
and so like I think instead of just releasing a game every year, make the graphics good, just focus on that and just add more to it, because no game's doing that, and players are going to be happy. Then instead of spending $60 every year, they'd spend $40 every like 6 months or to a year.
Yeah, the people are gonna pay. I mean,
if it's fun, they're gonna pay. We all know that.
Exactly. No, I don't.
It's been proven.
Always do it, but I mean, the newer generation console games are $70-$80, and I'm more than happy to pay if the game warrants that. Now, the only game I've really ever done that for was Resident Evil 8 and Demon's Souls Remake. I think those are the only games I've bought full price for. I bought Returnal too. But what I'm trying to say is, if it's worth it, people are going to buy it. The gamers have no problem shelling out the money.
No,
not at all.
And we've reached a point where like it's more quantity over quality.
Exactly.
Because they've just kind of gotten, because as a consumeristic society, for instance, we'll throw out something we haven't talked about yet, like 2K, which sports games needs to be its own episode as well.
Yes.
2K charges for their packs and all that, like through the roof, and like people aren't really happy with how the games have been in the past. So if we just decided we're not buying that until you fix it or make the stuff cheaper, they'd be forced to do it. Otherwise, they'd lose all that money.
Right.
The same with Battlefield, same with Call of Duty. If Call of Duty releases a horrible game, or Battlefield, if we don't buy it, they have to fix it. Because, like, as a business, you have to make it enjoyable and something the consumers, we'll just put in quotes, needs. But nowadays, like, nobody wants to do that. Like, they're like, oh, it's a Call of Duty, I got nothing else to play, I guess I'll go ahead and buy it.
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with, one aspect of it is like people just get off work and they want to play a game and they don't really care. But the other one, and where I think it could really change, is the streamers and YouTubers and content creators that don't speak up when they should, and they don't like say what you just like said, like, vote with your wallet, don't play this game, don't buy it. They don't talk about that because they really, not all of them, some of them are really good, but the majority of them don't care. They just care about their stream, their channel. Hey, watch me. And they don't care about the betterment of gaming and the gaming industry as a whole, I guess.
Which I also kind of get, because, I mean, they have to make a living. So if all your videos are just like, don't buy this game, and you're a COD player, it's like, what are you going to play? Right,
but one of the people I watch on YouTube has like 300,000 subscribers, and all he does is talk about bad things about Call of Duty and why it's in just a dumpster fire state right now. And yeah, I mean, it's gonna get boring after a while.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not asking for every single video to be, hey, just don't buy this game, but like, figure something else out, like that you actually enjoy it. Because if it's a bad game, you're not gonna enjoy playing it anyways. So you shouldn't even be doing that. Like, you shouldn't be doing something that you don't enjoy. Why would you make yourself play video games and then not play a game you enjoy? Like, that's your career. You should be, like, wanting to play the game. You should, like, not be able to wait to record and just to play if that's your job. But I'm just speaking from where I think it should be or how I'd want it to be. But
No,
I mean, if they just care about money and they don't care about the community, that's I guess they're gonna have to live with that. But I'm just saying that's why I think that's a fix to the problem. But it more than likely won't happen because people don't have the gall to speak up about things. They're just complacent and. Again, not throwing anybody specifically under the bus, just talking in general.
As a whole, yeah. No, I think you summed that up pretty well. Well, you got anything else you want to wrap up? I mean, I had weapon customizations on there, but we kind of already went in
That's
depth
what
on
I'm
all
saying.
that.
We kind of went in on everything we have, so...
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty good.
I guess that's it for today's episode. I want to thank you guys for watching. Again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you did enjoy, and I don't know what the next episode's going to be, but we'll see you in the next one. Take it easy, guys.
Yeah, make
Peace
sure
out.
to share. Have a good one, guys.
Peace.